That is Raul Julia with William Hurt in a scene from Kiss of the Spider-Woman. First of all, welcome back to the city of Toronto. I told you we would try to make you as comfortable as you had been at the Magda Studios when you were shooting Overdrawn at the Memory Bank.
Wow.
After that, congratulations on your work in Kiss of the Spider-Woman. It is extraordinary, in an extraordinary film.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here again. And it's a pleasure to be here in your show, in your territory. And now,
Thank you.
Now I think we're complete. We met in New York City in my territory, and now I meet with you in your territory, and we're now complete.
Thank you.
On to better and more wonderful things.
Greater territories.
Better territories.
I wanted to point something out, Raul, because there has been so much press already on Kiss of the Spider-Woman. And it's been divided into the political, the artistic, the sexual, depending on the source and the reaction. You received your copy of the screenplay first. You were cast before William Hurt had read the script. I wonder, the first time you read the script, and what is the correct pronunciation of your director's name?
Hector Babenco.
Hector Babenco. When Mr. Babenco submitted the script to you to play Valentine, was Burt Lancaster then set to play Molina?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what happened?
He had a mild heart attack, and he had to be hospitalized, so he had to bow out of the project, and that was it. And also Hector Babenco, the director, had a hard time getting financing for the film in Los Angeles, and it looked like, well, Burt was out because he was sick. There was no money, so it looked like that was it. We weren't going to do it, and Hector said, well, I guess I will do it in Brazil with Brazilian actors, and just with much less money I can do it there, and I said, well, I'll go to Brazil with you, and I'll do it there. I'll learn Portuguese, you know. But I think this is a thing that I would like to really very much be involved with. And then around that time, it's when we all thought about sending it to William Hurt. We have the same agents, the same agency. And we sent it. He was in London finishing with Gorky Park. And he read the script, and being the man of good taste that he is, he said, this is fantastic, I would like to do it. So then when he came back to New York, we all met, and we were back rolling again as originally we had wanted it, and how Babenco wanted it, which is what he wanted, an international kind of project in which there were actors from North America, there were actors from South America, most of them Brazilian, and the crew was composed of, the cinematographer is Argentinian, composed of Argentinians and Brazilians, and it just was exactly how he wanted it, and that's how it turned out.
One of the extraordinary things about you, and I have heard stories about you behind your back from your fellow actors, whether they're Meryl Streep, James Earl Jones, Richard Dreyfuss, people you have worked with, Judith Ivey most recently, is your generosity and your sense of integrity. Your generosity and integrity were extended into the reality of the film being at the Cannes Film Festival and William Hurt being awarded Best Actor. And you said at the time, that's understandable. He has the flashier role. But what is unique about Bill Hurt, you said, was that his sense of integrity stopped him from misusing or abusing the fact that it was a flashier role. Mm-hmm. I thought that was extraordinary, since the two of you decided to go off and experiment, and you traded roles, did each other's scenes. They went back to Babenco one day and said, watch this.
Yes. Well, we did that. We had the luxury of rehearsing for 4 weeks for the film, which is just an actor's dream, and doesn't happen very often. So during rehearsal one day we said, why don't let's switch roles and see how it turns out, what we think, how it looks. As a matter of fact, I find that it's a very good technique for learning about your role when you have the other actor playing it. Especially if it's a two-actor scene, which this movie is a lot about like that. And I learned because then I'm not involved in the role. I'm watching my role being played by another actor who is playing the role that opposite me when I'm playing my role. So we learned a lot about our roles. I learned a lot about my role watching Bill playing my role, and he learned about his role watching me play it. And well, Bill, being the humble person that he is, he got paranoid, or he said, "Oh my God." And he went to Babenko, our director, and he said, "Did you see that? I think he should play Molina, and I should play Valentin." And for a short while, he was like, "I think we're making a mistake. It should be the other way around." But of course, when you see the film, there's no question that that's the way it should have been.
Now tell me, could you have done that when you were doing Othello with Richard Dreyfuss?
Yes, I think we could have done it. We didn't have the time because it was a limited run in Central Park, and it was a month run for 1 month, and we wouldn't have had the time to switch roles. But I think we could have done it, yeah. I love that. I think that's one of the things. I think that used to be done more in years ago, that actors switching roles.
It was done with Beckett.
With Beckett.
In London and New York.
In London and New York, Olivier and Anthony Quinn, yeah. And I like that. I like that. It's challenging. You really have to have your ego in the right place, though, because to see your co-worker was playing your role, you really have to be able to handle your ego and see, because there's the fear: is he going to do it better than me? Is he going to, how is he going to do it? Is he going to find things that I didn't find in that role? All that comes up, and you just have to allow that to be there and find that there's something beyond that, which is you being able to play the role that plays opposite you when you're playing the other role, and learning from the other actor when he's playing your role, and seeing the variety of things, this variety of role playing. And it's a great, I think it's a great lesson, and very challenging and fun, just a lot of fun.
All right, on that we will take a commercial break, okay? Okay. Be right back with Raul Julia and more. Raul Julia with William Hurt, Kiss of the Spider Woman. Watching you in that scene and sitting across from you now, I am reminded yet again that you do not, in Kiss of the Spider Woman, have the athletic, tennis-playing, robust physique you have in real life. But that has to do with the fact that you managed to lose 30 pounds in less than 4 months.
Oh, yes.
But not 30. Your sense of humor, Raul. You said you realized in your research that there were no fat revolutionaries.
That's right. No, I met people that had been in that kind of business, and I read books and in my research. The thing is that these people are totally dedicated to the cause, to serving the cause. So food is not, they don't discuss about, have you tried this new restaurant? Or, oh, there's a French restaurant that I read. These revolutionaries don't talk about things like that. They're very much into the cause and very scrupulous, and always self-examining themselves about every moment of their lives, if it's doing something productive, or if every moment is serving the purpose and the cause. So they're not fat. They don't eat very much. Eating is just a thing like fuel to keep going and serving the cause. That's the true revolutionary spirit. So I learned that. So I said, well, I'm going to, and especially my character, which also has been in prison and has been tortured and not fed very well, if any at all. Later in the film, he starts getting some food, but part of the torture is not being fed well or very little. So I, I had to lose weight to be faithful to what I thought the part would be. And I lost over 30 pounds, about 32, 33 pounds.
Did your wife, Meryl, become alarmed? Did she see this happening to you?
Well, what happened was I left the city, New York, to go to Brazil without her and my son, who was 3 months old then, and I left, and I was already had lost, I don't know, I would say about 15 pounds. And then when I got to Brazil, I started losing more and more because I kept reducing the amount of food that I would eat. So when, about a month later or so, a month and a half that they came to Brazil to join me, they couldn't believe how skinny I was. And she was a little alarmed, but I told her, don't worry, because I know what I'm doing. I feel my body, and also Babenko got concerned too, because after shooting one day, it was like a long drive, about an hour and a half drive, I believe, from the studio to where we were staying. And we had 10-hour days, 12-hour days of shooting in the prison all the time, and I just fell asleep in the car, but the driver thought that I had fainted, because everybody was so concerned that I was so skinny, and they were bringing these sumptuous meals for lunch at the studio, and I wouldn't have anything. I would just have a salad, and they were so concerned, so he thought I had fainted, so he told Babenko, and Babenko said, well, we have to get him to a doctor. I want him, I want to make sure that he's all right. So they took me to a doctor, and the doctor said I was fine, and that he just recommended that I take some protein powder every day with a drink, a special drink, like a beef broth tea or something with an egg in it. And it was fine. It was fine. I felt that I knew what I was doing. Of course, now looking back, I think next time if I had to lose weight like that, I would get a doctor to supervise the reduction of the weight, to supervise the diet. And I think that's the best thing to do, just to have a doctor supervising. It was a little crazy of me to do it on my own. But I was fine, and I gained it very quickly.
But while you were losing it, and when it was gone from your body, as a man who has been a political activist all of his adult life, and one of your passions has been the World Hunger Project, when you saw the lavish displays of food coming to the studio while you were voluntarily fasting and starving yourself, where was your heart and mind in the World Hunger Project?
Of course, that served very much to get in touch with that aspect of the situation in the world. As a matter of fact, even today, once a month for 24 hours, from sun up till sun up the next day, till the sun comes up the next day, I don't eat anything. I just have liquids. And even that now I'm reducing more and more just to water. I have juice sometimes. And I do it as an expression of my commitment to making the end of starvation a reality by the end of the century. And it's not just an airy-fairy thing. It's not just an impossible dream. And people are realizing that more and more. All the experts agree that we have the technology and the means to end starvation by the end of the century. And all that is needed is the will of the people, the will of people like you and me, to first of all know that that's so, that we can end starvation in the planet by the end of the century, and then participate in whichever way you feel it's the best way that you can contribute to the end of starvation.
But Raul, who works on the power of politics and gets the trucks and the people to get the food where it's going, as we now know is not happening?
Well, we do. You see, we contribute to making a change in that. We cannot leave it up to, we can't just say, look, the governments are not allowing the trucks to get through. They're not allowing the food to come in, so there's nothing I can do. That's precisely what keeps it there. There's no government, there's no individual in the world that is powerful enough to go against a critical mass of people that want something to get done. There's no way that there's no government in the world that will go against, or it might try to go against it, but they will never win against a critical mass of people that are saying, we want this to be done. We want this to be done because we want to end starvation. We want to end starvation in the planet. We want to end starvation in Africa, and you're going to do it. But you know, it's up to us to do that.
If you were saying this right now on television in South Africa, the screen would have gone blank.
I know, but I would have said it anyway.
The screen would have gone blank.
Well, the screen goes blank, and if I don't have other people behind me, the whole country will go blank. You see, but it's not just the Africans that need this, that have to get up and create the critical mass of people. It's up to us too, because it's our planet. It's not just that the Africans are over there and I'm here. It's affecting us right now, and it will affect us even more in the future. Those people are our people. They're human beings like we are. Not only that, even for selfish reasons, we need to clear that stuff in Africa. We really need to clear it up, because in a way we're responsible for what it happened, for making it happen in the first place, for whatever policy, government policies, supporting certain governments that weren't doing the correct job. All that is our responsibility. The world is getting smaller and smaller. It's no longer, oh, them over there and we over here. It's no longer you or I. It's you and I. We either make it together or we go together. So I think it's a very critical time in the planet, and that's what the Hunger Project is about. It's about creating the climate for those things to end and for the end of starvation to happen.
Let us take another break and we'll come back, okay? Be right back with Raul Julia. Raul Julia is with us. Valentine says to Molina in Kiss of the Spider Woman, without power in this country, no man is a real man. And it's one of many haunting remarks the characters exchange. I think what is vital about Kiss of the Spider Woman is the political awareness of what the film is about, the freedoms, the prejudices, the recognition of other people's individuality. But finally, and most importantly, it's a love story about the ability and inability to love. And I think it contains one of the more extraordinary, tender, and discreet love scenes ever put on film. And it happens to occur between two men. What has it done to your private, personal definition of sexuality?
Well, sexuality to me, I don't even define it. It's just there. I mean, and to me, it's a matter of taste and inclination. And to me, sexuality is, at best, is an expression of the love that you might have for someone else. It's part of the expression. There are many ways to express love, and one of them is within the context of sexuality. Also, sexuality is a need. It's an incredible need that we just happen to have. Why do you say it with
such a laugh? Because you're here without your wife?
Yeah.
What is this? Let me ask you something, though.
Yes.
I got you. I got you. I know you're alone. You're on the road. Are you determined to do Kiss of the Spider Woman in New York on stage, playing Molina?
Yes, I'm willing to do that. Yeah. As a matter of fact, we've been talking about it. So I would be willing to do that. I think it would be interesting to play that character. It's a fascinating, very theatrical. On the stage, it would be just a lot of fun and great joy to play Molina on the stage.
I compliment you again, and I hope that in New York on the stage we meet again and talk about your stage performance as Molina.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Raul Julia.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Pleasure being with you. Thank you.